Over $196,000 is what we're showcasing with this 2025 Mercedes-AMG GT63 Coupe in sun yellow over black Nappa leather. Now, we've added some packages, but is it going to be worth the price? I'm Anthony from Supercar Throttle, and I'm always excited to bring these type of vehicles to the channel because it's unique. At Hawkeye Rides, it's another channel that we have. Check it out. Don't forget to subscribe and like some of the videos. We have a ton of the GT models on there. We also have the SL on that channel, as well as the GT63R, which was a special edition back in 2020. For 2026, we also have a special edition. If it comes into our area, we will definitely bring it into the channel. This is kind of the sweet spot vehicle though, because you're getting 577 horsepower, 0 to 60 at 3.1 seconds. You're still under 200 grand, and this has a pretty decent amount of features that's added to it because the MSRP starts under 180 grand. But now, what comes into content to me is the Porsche 911 GTS, because it's about 5 to 7 grand cheaper and it's a little bit faster than this. Which way would you go? Drop a comment and let me know. The front is gonna have the digital LED headlights and daytime runnings. The AMG grille with the vertical bars that integrate into the air pocket. We have the night package and the extended AMG night package. So that's why we got the black bits in the front. It's gonna also carry on onto the side view mirrors, the lower skirt, the side fender, as well as around the windows, and the lower rear bumper trim around the quad exhaust tips, which we have the AMG Performance exhaust and that diffuser. So when you put that on the exterior of this, it really highlights the vehicle. And of course, because these vehicles are so low to the ground, we have a lifter. The other day I was driving my MC20 Cello out, and I swear I almost swallowed my heart because I went down and I thought, oh man, I'm gonna lose the whole front of the vehicle. I kind of wish that it would store memory like it does with Mercedes. So that's definitely a pro here because you could store up to different destinations whenever you push the lifter, and then you don't have to worry about activating it every time you go somewhere, because in and day out, we forget to do these things. Now, what's found underneath the hood is truly exceptional because it's a handcrafted 4.0 liter V8 bi-turbo engine. 577 horsepower, 0 to 60 at 3.1 seconds. I'm sure you can probably get faster. That's what Mercedes is quoting. With the 9-speed AMG Speed Shift MTC automatic transmission, which is a dual clutch transmission for quicker speeds. Now, when you're at a near 200 grand, do you really care about MPGs? Because you're getting 12 to 19. Now that's where the MC20, it's actually kind of funny because they have a V6. They have 12 spark plugs because it's F1 technology, which we have F1 technology all over this vehicle too. But the difference is that's the only supercar that actually gets pretty decent MPGs. And when you're going for supercar status, nobody really gives a damn about that. Now we have these upgraded 21-inch AMG forged cross spoke black wheels. That's the AMG high performance composite brake system with the yellow brake calipers, and I appreciate that it's yellow because it matches the exterior color. 6 pistons is housed in the front, a single piston in the rear. With the AMG Performance 4MATIC all-wheel drive and the AMG active ride control suspension, I mean, you know the deal. AMG electronically limited slip differential, AMG Performance exhaust, AMG right here in front of the LED taillights with the GT63. This is an automatic deployable wing, and it will adjust according to speeds or by the push of a button. Now that we went over the basic grounds for your specs, is it worth a near $200,000 price point? For the coupe variant, if you're looking for something that's gonna stand out of class, because let's face it, how many of these do you really see on the road? I mean, drop a comment and let me know when the last time you saw one of these on the road was. How many times do you see a Porsche 911? Now I get it, it may not be a GTS, it may not be an MC20, a McLaren or a Lamborghini, but this is definitely gonna stand out. Why didn't I go SL? Because I just happen to like the Maserati a little bit better. It just has more of a wow factor to me because the way the doors open, it's quicker 0 to 60, it's 100% track drive. Don't get me wrong, both of them are F1 technology, but the ride to the MC20 is a little bit more soft than this. But do you think it's worth a near $200,000 price? Let me know in the comments. Click the subscribe and the like button because all this helps the algorithm. Look at this performance. Crazy what you're getting. Brakes, you also have that. So you got the best of both worlds here. I'm gonna get up onto the interstate. Maneuverability is good. You don't have a lot of feedback, but it's all right. I mean, usually what happens with these expensive vehicles nowadays, they try to make it for an everyday drive. You sit up a little bit higher too. So unlike the Maserati MC20 Cello or just the MC20 that sits a little bit lower to the ground, the same thing with the Ferrari and the McLarens, this sits upward. So it's more of an everyday drive. The seat comfort, it's pretty good. It's not as wide as I would like for the butt area, and I just don't like having to jump into the interior for the vehicle. Now that is the case also on some of the competition, especially if you're looking at Lamborghini, and even with the MC20, you still kind of have to jump into the vehicle. It's just the seat butt area isn't as wide, so that's what makes it a little bit uncomfortable. Everything is touch sensitive and right where it needs to be. It's not so tech driven, but it's enough. And the technology for the inbox, I think, is one of the best in class because they even put this in Aston Martin. I actually prefer the sit to this better than my MC20 because it feels more of a practical, and I know it's a 200 grand vehicle, so it's not really practical, but more of a daily drive vehicle. We're gonna throw it back into that sport. Oh man, it's crazy the performance that comes out of these cars. I mean, when you're thinking 3.1 seconds, it literally could probably go a lot faster than that. You got the front lifter. You also have the car wash where you can activate it so it'll move the side view mirrors. It's not gonna be like a Tesla, so don't be so concerned there. I mean, overall, the package that you're getting, it's good. Interior space is good. By far, it's one of the best with cargo capacity too, because typically when you get a vehicle like this, the last thing they're gonna give you is cargo and cup holders. I mean, look at this. I actually got 2 cup holders here. I only got one in an NC20. I only got one area for a phone, literally the wireless charging pad. I only got one area. I can't even fit it here in this box. They give you a lot more interior space when you go this route, but it is a gasaholic, I will say that. As I've been driving the vehicle through the day, it drinks a ton of gas. Servicing the vehicle is going to be expensive, and for some people they may not classify this as a supercar, and sadly it is. It does feel pretty wide in the lane, and it actually feels pretty long also. Now, since you heard a ton of pros through this review, the cons: you don't get a digital rear view mirror, it's a freaking gasaholic, but it's a smooth driving vehicle. This could be a daily vehicle. It's not practical by any means, but it could be a saving, especially if you are optioning features on a Porsche, on a McLaren, or a Ferrari. Let me know which way you would go in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out this next video right here.